who are the 2 wild card teams from each division or each league?
Each league. For me, I actually am going with the Cubs the Cubs and the Dodgers as my National League wild card champs or winners. Basically, they're both going to go. It doesn't matter who you pick to win. Whether it's the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks winning their division, the other guy is going to go as the wild card. Same thing with the Cardinals and the Cubs. Whoever wins their division, the other guy's getting the wild card.
We're pretty similar, actually, because I have the Cardinals going into the wild card. I got them finishing second there.
Yeah.
And I've got the Giants finishing second in the wild card in the West division, so they're going to the wild card. It's interesting. Both of these, not only are these guys great teams, but in the divisions they're playing against a lot of rebuilding teams.
Yep.
So in the Central, as we were talking about, there's the Reds and Brewers. The better teams in those leagues are going to rack up the wins a lot quicker because they're playing an unbalanced schedule, playing some rebuilding teams.
Right.
And in the NL West, the same deal with the Rockies and Padres. Those are teams that are just going to be donating wins.
It's just my gut, really, is telling me that the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks are going to be the players this year.
Yeah.
But you're right. You can't discount the Giants because they've proven themselves as like every other year.
They find a way.
Yeah, so that you can't ignore them. They're like the Twins in the early 2000s, late 90s. They just would not
pesky
lose to the White Sox and whatever it took. All right, cool. So then in the American League, I'll give mine first.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll go first. American League, I have Boston and Kansas City Royals. Being their respective wild cards in their leagues. I think Boston, again, chip on their shoulder. They got a lot to prove. They made some nice pitching moves. They got Dombrowski in the front office. They're serving really, really good Kool-Aid. They're one of those teams believing that, hey, the turnaround is happening. We can make it happen. They could be kind of like the Cubs last year. Hey, if we get to the playoffs, it's icing on the cake. Yeah. But we have a good foundation, and that's why I think that could propel them into the playoffs as a wild card.
Sure.
Kansas City, again, they're not going to be as hungry as they were last year. They got the World Series. They've been there 2 years in a row. Are they still hungry?
Yeah.
You know, I think the talent is still there. The wins are going to add up to get to the postseason, but will they dominate in the postseason? Again, how hot? What team is the hottest team in baseball going into the postseason? Usually will tell you who's going to win the World Series, or at least end up in the World Series.
Yeah, momentum is big in baseball. So it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yeah.
Like you can't get yourself into the postseason in April, but you can get yourself out of it in April.
Exactly, very much so. So World Series,
Well, I'll go with the American League wild card. You had the Rangers winning your division. I have them making it in as a wild card, and you had the White Sox winning the Central. I have them going in as a wild card.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, so Rangers, White Sox, American League wild card, and I think if those two meet up, Chris Sale will be pitching. White Sox will make it to the next round.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So yeah, who is facing who in the World Series to you?
Oh, this is a lot of people are going to be like, this is not right. This is not happening. I won't watch it, but I do have the Chicago White Sox, of course, playing the Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Series. I think that would be a fun World Series to watch, but I also like the talent on this team and just like I think there's an energy that both of them have right now that could be really strong. Hutch is telling me it's going to be the Giants over the Red Sox.
Interesting.
I think the Red Sox go to the World Series or playoffs, but I don't think they get to the World Series. But that's an interesting matchup. I actually like those two teams in the World Series.
And if my scenario played out where the Cards and Giants made the wild card, I do have the Giants advancing past the Cardinals.
There you go.
But not making it to the World Series. And I don't have I don't think I had the Red Sox going in at all. No, that was a tough toss-up. Would the Red Sox get into the wild card? And
I just like the.
It was close.
I mean, I think they're like the Cubs almost of last season. They and I don't like to use the word they limp.
Sure.
Because anyone who gets
to
the postseason, you're in the postseason.
Yeah.
But like, let's face it, some teams get in like easily.
Yeah.
And then some teams have a little bit harder time,
Yeah.
and that's that was the Cubs last year, but they got in there and they dominated their first series. They played against the Padres, the Pirates beat them in the one-game playoff game, swept the Cardinals. They just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and so that's really the talent's there. In Chicago,
It's
on
me.
both ends of town.
To me, I think and I think I said this maybe just in the first show we did, that the Cubs, their actual lack of readiness, whether it's preparation or talent, was exposed last year. They're a young team. They're still learning and growing.
Yep.
They play very well, obviously, but they were able to get past the Pirates, and the Cardinals were injury decimated. The first real challenge they had in the postseason was the Mets, and the Mets destroyed them. You know, I'm not bashful about my love of the Blue Jays. I love that team. I love watching that team.
They're fun. They're exciting.
And I see them beating the Cubs in the World Series this year.
Wow.
So I see the Cubs making it, but not being able to stand up against Toronto.
Oh my God, that's a great. I love that, and it would be like
fun.
a sister city, Chicago, Toronto going at
Yeah.
it.
A lot of blue.
A lot of blue, and unfortunately, it would be the same color blue. It's just how they wear that blue.
Yes.
And hopefully, no one walks out with a ball that is blue. Anyway, so moving forward here. Oh, Vegas has the Cubs winning them too. I know.
Vegas has the Cubs winning 7-1 odds with the Boston Red Sox number 2.
Really?
So Vegas, they're hedging their own bets, but they're also, these are somewhat altered by how people are betting. Because they don't want, if a lot of people are betting for one team, they have to start changing their ratio so that they don't end up losing a lot of money.
Right.
So I don't know if that's because a shitload of Boston people are betting, or do they really does Vegas think Boston is the second most likely team to win the World Series?
Well, maybe they're looking at it from from the point of view of like a Joe Moran. They're combining the talent and the heart and the Kool-Aid that's from coming down. They're serving from the clubhouse or in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Again, the front office. It starts at the front office, and Dave Dombrowski brings that reputation to a front office. Like, hey, we're here to win, and we're going to start winning today. And everything. It's like, have you seen As Good as It Gets when Harold Ramis, the doctor that she can never get for her son?
Okay. Yeah.
And he's like, she's like, no one can get that in 24 hours. It's, things are about to get better, honey. Yes, they can. And that's what Dave Dombrowski is to the Red Sox. He also constructed both teams that won the World Series in Miami in '97 and 2003. So that's something to be said about his...
Sure, his pedigree.
Yeah, and what he brings to the table.
So the top 5 in Vegas is Cubs 1, Red Sox 2, then Giants, Astros, and Mets. So for whatever that's worth, I always like to see stuff like this.
But, and then the White Sox are all the way down at 50-1.
White Sox are less than Baltimore, according to Vegas.
You know what, though? In 2005, Vegas had the White Sox at 75-1 odds, and you know what? White Sox won the World Series.
Well, White Sox have better odds this year, 50-1.
I noticed, yeah. At least we all can agree on the Phillies. They're not going to be shit this year.
350-1.